I'm Darkside, this is GetDarkerTV. We've got DJG over from San Francisco, and let's go and speak to him. Right, so DJG.
Hello.
Good to see you, mate.
Nice to see you.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Mate, the background here,
Yeah.
could have picked a better place, right?
That's right.
You know what bridge that is?
Tower Bridge.
So you're not just a standard tourist then, no?
No, I'm an educated, well-versed tourist.
So you've come over to San Francisco, great to have you over. I have to say, on Tuesday you've done GetDarkerTV.
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't seen it, check out YouTube. The comments says it all. Have you seen the comments yet?
I haven't looked. I get a bit squeamish about comments in general. I try to avoid them, good or bad.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you enjoy it?
I had a great time, and the new studio is really nice.
Well, that's
And that mixer is sick.
I know.
I don't even know what it is. What is it?
It's an Evo 5, but everyone turns up. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's not something you can normally buy.
It's got like this screen and filter, you know.
But have you noticed no one uses it?
I don't think anyone knows how to.
Exactly.
I couldn't figure it out. I was like,
Exactly.
no,
I'm there every
well.
single Tuesday, and I've never even clocked out to use it yet.
Yeah.
So it's new for everyone. But what about the sound system?
That sounds great. Yeah, it's really nice. I was actually going to ask you if I could go down there today and like do some mixing in there.
You could have done that.
Yeah.
So GetDarkerTV, obviously, that was a smasher. I mean, we'll come on to that later about the podcast. But tonight we're going to Cable. Cable's just about half a mile from here. We've got GetDarker versus This Is Dubstep. You're in room 1.
Yeah,
Look forward to that?
definitely. Yeah, I think I got a good time slot as well.
Yeah, you have.
I've been very gracious.
Well, you know, I tried looking after me. You're right, yes.
Yeah.
So before the trip and before you come over here and before we spoke about something else we're going to talk about in a minute, which is a track called Rivet, which is a big highlight of this discussion. But the scene in America, obviously from San Francisco.
Yeah.
How strong is it at the moment out there in terms of dubstep, as we call it?
Well, you know, America's such a big place. It's hard to really say, you know, how to speak for different cities. You know, it's different in every city you go to. But obviously, dubstep has exploded in different ways. I mean, dubstep obviously means different things to different people. But yeah, it's huge. You know, it's definitely very big. And in San Francisco, where I live, you know, there have been people in that town doing dubstep since 2005, 2006. Those were like our early days, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's strong, man. It's really good.
And what about your background? Because obviously you've been around for a long while.
Yeah.
You know, in this whole, as you say, this, what we know as dubstep.
Well, I've been involved in dubstep since 2006. Those are my early days. Yeah.
What about before that? What was your history before that?
You know, I was a drum and bass kid from like the late 90s. And I was a DJ.
Yeah.
And I never really got into production too seriously because drum and bass became very almost kind of competitive. It became sort of the loudest and hardest and that kind of thing. And creatively, I just really latched on to dubstep. I heard some DMZ records. Those are the first things I ever heard. I heard Goat Stare by Lofo and Root. And I just loved how spacious it was. And creatively, it just fit really well for me. And then I came out to London in 2007, and I went to Mass. I went to DMZ 2-year anniversary party at Mass, and I was like, right, I've got to get involved, you know, because it was just so exciting, you know.
And not look back since, right?
What's that?
Not look back since.
Not really, no. Yeah.
But in terms of every time I've gone to America, and I think it's pretty evident for all of us now, is dubstep in America is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, the audience is huge. Everyone knows about it now. But as you say, people interpret it differently.
Yeah.
And there's a very strong arena for the more hard-hitting dance floor kind of side to it. And
well, I think the bottom line is that in America especially, and really anywhere around the world, there's always been a market for really loud, really energetic, main room, arena electronic music. You know what I mean? And it just so happens that right now, it's very trendy for that to be dubstep.
Yeah.
You know? And so that audience has adopted this kind of BPM range and this kind of format, and now that's what's in the big room. It's sort of funny because this name dubstep was something to this smaller group of people where it started, and now there's like this big industry has popped up around it, and we're all going, right, okay, well, I guess we still make dubstep, you know?
Yeah.
But what we make is kind of different within that marketplace, and I still think there's room for everyone, you know, to do like the big, loud, heavy stuff and sort of the more personal, artistic driven stuff, you know. I mean, there's really room for everyone, I think.
But seeing obviously dubstep in the US, Dubboard days in New York grow, but now obviously since then you've had this kaboom. Have you ever been tempted as a producer to just think, you know what, I'm gonna lose my pride for a minute and just jump on this and make the trendy music?
I write music from a pretty personal place. You know what I mean? Like I'm personally motivated to create music, and I've never really been in a situation where I could say, oh yeah, I'll just make this to like make money or whatever. I actually don't really have it in me, to be totally honest with you. Like, even when I'm in the studio, like helping other people, and they want help to make some massive preset wobble or whatever, I'm like, man, you know, I don't know, because I really write music from a very kind of organic perspective, and so no, I never really have been tempted, because I honestly wouldn't know how, because it's not who I am. I mean, my music, not to sound really corny, man, but it is really me. You know what I mean? I am sort of making a statement, and I actually view music as an opportunity to make a statement. You know, just say something. That's how I see it. For some people, making tunes is they just want to make the heaviest and hardest, and I think that's cool. You know what I mean? That's always been part of dubstep, because it comes from that reggae dubplate culture of like the biggest tune. That's exciting, you know, and I actually really enjoy that side of dubstep. But I also was always so drawn to the sort of personal expression side of it. You know, when I would hear a mallet tune, like, yeah, I mean, it's a banging tune, but you're also getting a sense of who this person is and what their experience is in London. You know, or you know, not an obvious one like Burial, but you know, just really, I think that you have to put your stamp on it personally. Otherwise, you're just making the same beats everyone else does. That's boring to me.
Absolutely. And then when you're talking about making beats in your studio, typically, what's the typical setup that we find?
It's pretty boring. Yeah. I mean, it's my laptop and it's Logic. I mean, I think one of the things that I try to do a little bit differently though is that I don't use a lot of samples. I have a pretty musical background. I grew up playing instruments from the age of 3. So I'm writing a lot.
What instruments?
Violin.
The triangle or something?
No, the violin, piano, guitar, bass guitar, a little bit of cello, stringed instruments.
Right.
And so, you know, if you listen to a lot of my songs, you know, there's lots of melody, there's lots of chords, there's lots of sort of strong musical elements. And if anything, I kind of view dubstep particularly, but just dance music in general, as like sort of a challenge. Like, can I work within this framework of dance music? Can I make people dance and also get like a really big melody in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and do it in a way that isn't corny. That's, you know what I mean? You have to kind of walk the line a bit, you know? I mean, setups are so unimportant anyway. You know, you can make tunes on anything. There are so many brilliant artists who use, you know, their mom's PC and Fruity Loops or whatever. You know, you can use anything. It just comes down to creativity.
So what's drawn you from something like Fruity Loops on a PC, or Reason or Cubase on a PC? You're on a Mac, you're on Logic. Why? Have you used other tools before? Or?
I started using Reason years ago, but honestly, I use Logic because it just makes the most sense to me. I really believe that writing music and really doing any creative work is about removing intellectual barriers and just getting straight to your intuition, so that you don't have to think. You can just sit down and tap right into your creativity. And whatever tool allows you to do that, to just get right to where you need to go as a creative person, you should use that. And for me, that's Logic. I mean, it isn't always Logic. I mean, sometimes I think, oh God, I want to use something else. But it's the environment that I feel the most sort of, I can just turn my head off and just write, you know?
So two tracks that I approached you about very recently, and it's no secret that I heard the first one from Joe Nice playing on GetDarkerTV.
My dude.
As soon as he played it, it's like my little ears picked up and thought, what's this? Since then, I haven't left you alone, mate. The title of that track is called Rivet, right? The other track obviously is the track called Melon, and there's another track called Annually Grow. they're 3 tracks that I paid massive interest in to talk to you about. Fortunately, you know, we've kind of agreed that we are going to do something on the GetDarker label. But a question I have got is that I know you was approached, or you would well have been approached for those 2 tracks as well.
Yeah.
For many other labels. But we had a good discussion. I mean, I've got to ask you, it's a bit of an awkward question because this hasn't been preempted, but why have you allowed us to consider it coming out on GetDarker? Why have you could have gone anywhere with these 2 tunes. And I'm so kind of passionate about these 2 tracks. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But I'm also very privileged to have them as well at the same time. Well, I feel very privileged. So I've got a question for you directly. Why have you given them to us?
Well, you know, there's a number of reasons. But I think a lot of it comes down to a personal relationship. You know, I really got along with you guys, and I really have a lot of faith in you and your team, and they all just seem like a really great group of people. GetDarker also just has, I think it has a really strong brand, and it has the kind of brand within dubstep that I feel I can do my thing within, you know? And at the same time, I also felt like you guys were kind of taking a chance on me in a sense, because as much as I think the music suits your label, it's also, you know, significantly different stylistically, you know, I think, and I appreciated that. I thought, oh, cool, you know, these guys sort of see something in what I'm doing, and the feeling was mutual.
That's good to hear. So can we get some more gins then?
Yeah, of course. Stay tuned.
Talking about the 2 tracks, let's talk about Rivet. I mean, Rivet, everyone's jumping on about it, people are asking me for it, you know, Radio 1 have been playing it. Where did that tune come from?
There's kind of 2 ways that I go about writing tunes. It's typically I'll either start with some drums and just roll it out, just build off drums. But I think a more personally exciting way for me to write is to just have a melody come into my head. I love working with melody. It's so much more exciting to like write a song. And that melody just like came in, and I just had to write it down. And I was living in New York at the time. And I actually wrote it, and I actually struggled with it for a long time because I just thought, it's so weird. It's too melodic. Because sometimes you go to dubstep nights and all you hear is like, boom, 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 and there's no big melodies like that. And I thought, oh God, you know, no one's gonna play this. This tune's just too weird. And Joe Nice is actually one of the only guys I gave it to.
Yeah.
Because I just give everything to Joe Nice, because he's my hatchet. So yeah, I gave it to him, and I just thought, you know, Joe's always got an open mind. I always like to know what he thinks, and he just cut it straight away, and he loved it. And I thought, wow, you know, I was surprised. I was actually surprised anyone liked it, just because I thought the tune was just dark and so melodic and so just, you know, in your face. But every time I say that to people, they laugh, especially other producers, because it's like, it's so true that those are always the tunes that people like. They're the ones that you're like, I don't know, this is almost too weird. People like that, you know? They like the sort of, to hear producers be a little adventurous, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, well that's all from me. Is there anything else you want to mention while you're on camera?
I just want to say thanks to everyone who's supported me, and look out for Rivet and Melon on GetDarker in July. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Cool.